Hey, JK here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me. We're a little late starting this draft, tad bit late, but it's all good. We are still here. And I say we because I have a special guest here with me today. One of my great friends here, Mr. Rough Rider, new in our league.
Hi.
Okay, so it's my turn to draft. My first pick was Merrill Jackson, or Jackson Merrill, excuse me. It's exactly who I wanted. So we're going to try to go heavy with the offense because we kept no pitchers. So I do like Corey Seager. I also like CJ Abrams. I like the stolen bases. Who do I go with? Oh wait, I need to go up here. Who do I go with? 20 seconds. Ooh.
Hey, I'm Oh, you do you. Sorry.
I'm going Corey Seager.
Alright, so your league is drafting now. Enter live draft error. Is that how you want it?
Yeah. Go to league, and it was over on the side.
Thank you.
No, you're good. Okay, so we're going to do some explanation of our teams. Again, we did each have 8 keepers in this league. I've been in this league probably 10 plus years now. Again, Rough Rider here does actually have a pick now, so that's great. Brand new addition here. Super excited. Definitely knows a ton about baseball, so it should be a great addition to this league. So as he is selecting his players, I'll go ahead and start with my keepers, and I'll try to remember the rounds. I did keep them. Matt Olson was my first baseman, and I kept him in the 3rd round, so I will not have a 3rd round pick. Jose Altuve was my 5th round keeper. Wilson Contreras was my 18th round keeper, but I think because I had 2 18th rounders, he moved to the 19th round. Alec Bohm was my 14th round keeper. Lawrence Butler, who I got in a trade, was my 8th round keeper, so excited about him. Riley Green was my 16th round keeper, excuse me. Adolis Garcia was my 18th round keeper. And Zach Neto was my 21st round keeper. So again, excited about these guys I'm able to have. Definitely looking forward to being offense heavy this year. Because I seemed to lack offense in general last year. So now it is my turn. Trying to see what the channel. I'm trying to. Okay, I guess we're not gonna see it. Okay, so it's my turn again. I am excited to potentially take James Wood, but Mr. Brenton Doyle, he is a stolen base machine. Also looking at him, do like Mr. Brian Reynolds, definitely a do-it-all kind of guy. I talked about him in my 30 teams for 30 days. We need some speed, we need some power, and when you are hitting in Colorado, you definitely have that.
That's a good pick.
So, you also had 8 keepers. Do you want to walk us through some of the guys that you decided to keep?
Yeah, so I feel like the guy who had my team before left me in really good shape. A couple top 10 players. So Jose Ramirez, I'm a huge Guardians fan in real life, and so having him in a fantasy league is just icing on the cake. And Kyle Tucker were my first 2. Some good value here. I feel like a lot of guys that were kept late that were... like I said, efficient value. So I got Cal Raleigh, Power, the big dumper up in Seattle. Corbin Carroll, another great outfielder to go with Tucker. So I feel like I'm set there for at least for a little while. Vinny Pasquantino, when he's playing, man, excellent. I'm on the clock, so I'm going to do my pick now. I am going to stick with my Cleveland guys. I wanted to get 2 starting pitchers and my first 3 picks and a middle infielder. I'm going to hit that goal by taking my man, Tanner Bybee.
Woo!
Great year.
There we go. I like it. So my 5th round pick was Jose Altuve. So talking about some more of Rough Riders' team, love the fact that he was able to keep a guy that he likes on the team that he likes. J-Ram, going to be another do-it-all kind of guy for the Guardians, aka the Indians, because we all know they're the Indians and they still play at the Jake, not the Progressive Field that they say that now. Kyle Tucker, I think it's going to be good moving him to Chicago if he can stay healthy. Obviously, that was the reason why he did so poorly last year, but still put up decent numbers. Yep. I also like Vinny P. When you have him in a lineup with Bobby Witt, he's going to get his stats. When you have Salvi also there, you're bringing in Jonathan India. Love Jonathan India. He is my man crush of baseball, like Wes Welker, Danny Amendola were in football. He is that guy. Yes. Yep. And he had like a 952 OPS. He had like 82 walks last year, so he gets on base. There's going to be opportunity for Vinny P to hit 30 home runs, 80 RBIs this year.
And he was a 20th round pick for me.
20th round pick. Holy cow.
Can't beat that.
But I think that was because he had gotten hurt the year before, so he was a value pick. Correct. So perfect decision to use a keeper on him. And then Cal Raleigh, in some of my 30 for 30, I talk about the guys hitting around the Mendoza line, but still putting up astronomical numbers. Cal Raleigh is the prototype powerhouse catcher, and he's decent behind the plate as well. Mm-hmm. But he's getting 30 home runs, 100 plus RBIs. So now you're on the clock, and I'm excited to see who we're going with, because you talked about some pitchers, you talked about some infielders. We got a lot of talent left.
Now I notoriously punt on relievers, and I feel like it's a weak spot for me always. I could use a second baseman. I'm gonna take Munoz and get some relief help.
Now, I've talked about this, touched on it in the series. That Mariners bullpen is phenomenal. If they can get to that bridge to him, Matt Brash is supposed to be coming back. Yep. Great setup, man. Munoz could hit 30 saves if he's healthy. I know that's a big if, and that's pretty much everyone. But so it's my turn now. 30 seconds down. Still haven't picked up a pitcher. We have to start picking up pitchers. I want some power pitchers. And Zach Gallen isn't super sexy, but I think he's going to be in enough of a position to where his offense is going to put up enough runs, especially with Corbin Carroll, especially with Josh Naylor, especially with Ketel Marte. I don't think he's going to hit the same he did last year, but he's had 2 straight pretty decent seasons, so it's hard to argue with that. So went with Zach Gallen, and not exactly the guy I wanted, only because he is, I won't say old, but getting up there, maybe on the wrong side of 30, and the humidor does help a little bit, keeping the ball down. So that was my first pitcher. I already know who I want to go with next, so nobody pick them.
Scoop you on this one.
Are there any guys that you're excited about potentially later in the draft? For example, mine is Cam Smith. He is the third base / outfielder for the Astros, the Cheaters, with the idea of moving Mr. Altuve to the outfield. That's going to put Mauricio Dubon at second. He's made some errors and he's really scuffled at the plate, so not really all that excited about him, even though he's a do-it-all utility type of guy. Cam Smith is being thought of as a guy to come in and be the outfielder, continuing to keep Altuve at second, which is probably where he's most comfortable at. Do you have any guys that you're excited about, maybe later, or even early with the keepers that we have?
Yeah, so that's to be honest with you, I feel like later in the draft is where I lose it. Now, I don't know how much you get in your personal life on this show, but I have 2 toddlers, and I feel like I've fallen off big time. So the top 100 guys, I feel like I'm clued in on some of that depth later. I'm just going to be going on ranks because I lose track of it there. I feel like I learned less and less after about, 2021 COVID, and then having kids. I feel like that's where I petered out. So I kind of lose a little bit of knowledge there. And I'm a little bit stuck on the past in some of these guys. I tell you, based on that though, this Javi Baez guy, he's gonna be the face of the league for years and years to come.
Oh, it is my turn. I'm looking. I know who I wanted. I'm not seeing him. Oh, I believe I was scooped. So now, again, I do want to keep going with some power pitchers. 30 seconds left. No, he's not exciting. And you see me hovering over Sonny Gray. But he gets the job done. However, Roki Sasaki, this man has a lot of potential. He's really lighting it up in spring training. I know spring training you're going against maybe not the best, but we're gonna go ahead and take him. I feel good because I can keep him in a spot depending on how long or how little he spends time in the minors. But he is going to be starting game 2 in the Tokyo series, so probably won't be down there for long. Now I'm trying to figure out where in the world the actual updates, like where the picks are coming. I'm looking.
It's in the thread right now. You just see some comments, but they're, if you scroll up, there's like in a little bubble. Oh, maybe you have it filtered out. Is it only from chat to update? Huh, mine's coming in down there.
Oh, that's weird. Oh dang.
So yeah, I got like these Bryce Miller, Luis Castillo.
Yeah, that's what it should be. I don't know why I'm not seeing that though. Because I don't want to see the chat. Huh. I should have figured this out before I started. So yeah, I can't tell you who was selected, unfortunately. So draft results, maybe. Oh wow! Just do it this way. Okay, so now y'all can also see some of these results because I don't have an 8th round pick.
Keith Stoners just took Junior Caminero. I know you're a big fan of his.
Yeah, so Caminero is supposed to have some of the rawest power, just in general, of any guy in the league. And he's starting at third base, and I mean the Rays don't have the plethora of guys. Now they do have some minor leaguers, Carson Williams is one of the best ones, but third base, since Evan Longoria, I mean, who have they had? So third base, they're hoping that Caminero is going to be the guy there. So as we continue to look through, we can see that CJ Abrams, one I was looking forward to, but I did take Seager in front because, again, I'd like to think that Seager has his head, not Seager, but Abrams has his head on right, but we'll see. He's on a few of my other teams. As we keep going forward, we see this is my pick. I took Olsen.
Seth Lugo just went 75th.
Seth Lugo.
You think he could do it?
So if Seth Lugo can, and this is going to be it for everyone, if they can stay healthy, with that bullpen they have in Kansas City, because he was with the Padres, so now Kansas City. I think if Carlos Estevez can, again, get healthy, they have some decent pieces there. The offense is really going to be the driving factor. You do have Cole Reagans. You do have Seth Lugo. Mm-hmm. You did get rid of Brady Singer over the summer, so that was a big piece. Now, he wasn't always the sexiest, but he was an innings eater. So
he had a great year. You think he'd do it again, or you think that was a fluke?
I think he'll be able to do it again. I don't think he'll remain.
If he does, as 75th pick, that's a good value.
Yeah. I don't think he'll be too. I don't think anyone's gonna be upset. Like, oh man, he didn't do this for me. But again, I think
you get solid. You're not expecting.
Yeah, it's definitely a situation where he's not going to hurt too much because he's been solid enough. Again, we talked about how he was really great in the bullpen moving forward. He started as a starting pitcher, then went to bullpen, did great stuff there, getting holds and saves, and then went to starting pitching for the Mets, then the Padres, or the Dads, and now with Kansas City, he's doing good. And I think the offense is definitely going to be the best part of that entire team, keeping them in.
I'm going to take someone that I threw back from the keeper pick, Hunter Green. I was really considering. I had a lot of other strong candidates, and
yes,
probably picked him higher up than I would have. Yeah, he would have been a 14th round keeper for me, but drafted in the 8th. He kind of gets the way it gets bunched up, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Maybe not for keeping long term, but I think he'd be good, at least for this year.
So, as a Yankees fan, I cannot stand the cheaters, but it is hard to beat the idea of what Hunter Brown can do and what he can be for a team. Now, he didn't have Spencer Arrighetti spaghetti type numbers for that 1-6 start string he had, where he just went off six games that he had 4, 11 plus strikeout games, and it's hard to beat that. But again, he's going to be a top guy there. And again, the offense still has numbers. They have Christian Walker, they have Altuve, they have Dubon, even though he's not everything anymore. They have Isaac Paredes. This guy, he might not be able to hit the broadside of a marble, but when he does hit it, it's going a long way. So excited about that. Not excited about the outfield. Everything in the outfield, kind of, especially since Tucker is gone. I mean, Yordan Alvarez, yes, everyone loves Yordan Alvarez. I think he's great, but not super excited about him outfield wise. So we are into so Clay Holmes, the keeper, Tanner Scott, Suzuki, Bo Bichette. So we're running around 10. There were definitely a few guys I was surprised to see them thrown back in. Definitely some power hitters and some power pitchers, which obviously I did not mind. I got Corey Seager, I got Jackson Merrill, Brenton Doyle, and I remember last year, my 30 teams, 30 days, I talked about how he was a household name because he led the Rockies in steals. Well, now he is a household name. Funny enough, he again led the Rockies in steals. I think he had 30 this past year. So again, he's definitely doing it.
I am going to take my third Guardian of the draft. I had those 2 outfielders picked all around him. I had my third outfielder, my man, most disciplined, purest hitter in the game, Steven Kwan. That power's coming. His home runs are going up a few each year. Oh boy.
Can he hit 400?
Oh no, absolutely. It was awesome. He had it on track for it for a while, but the season averages out. You always regress to the mean a little bit.
So I'm trying to look to see, did someone take Sonny Gray? Because I would like Sonny Gray. He's probably right in front of me. I'm just not paying any attention.
No, he got took by Love Me or Tease Me right before.
Dang it. Okay.
Yeah.
That I can't see on the side. I don't know what's going on. So, again,
This is a tough spot for starting pitching if that's what you're looking for.
It is. I'm going to go Woo, only because as part of a great rotation. The concern is he is going to be under a workload, but look at that ERA. Sub 3, sub 1 whip. And I'm not super scared of the teams he's going to be going against. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from them, but the Giants, their lineup doesn't scare me. Willie Adames is not going to redo what he did last year. He's not. Helio Ramos, he's decent. Patrick Bailey, not the guy at offensive catcher, after he got the concussion. So Giants don't scare me. Of course, the Athletics, as long as they're not hitting at home, because Sutter Health Park is only 325 in right field. So I love the fact that I have Mr. Lawrence Butler. Love the fact that I could also be looking at Mr. JJ Bleday. That's how I say his name.
Fantastic baseball name.
Yes.
Elite.
The only name I like more than that, we have to go with Colin Holderman, who I literally just talked about in my Pirates series. He is the holds leader, or was a holds leader in 2023 for the Pirates, and second only to Aroldis. Serve up a meatball, 45 times in a row to get it, home run, Mr. Aroldis Chapman. So yeah, okay. This is tough because there are a lot of still good players left.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm scrolling down. I'm seeing some Yankees, and I'm not excited.
I probably need to fill out pitching, but I love guys with flexibility, so I'm going to take Berger. You get some power here. You get first and third flex. Between Ramirez and Pasquantino, I don't know if I have the spot for him all the time, but love that flexibility. I can figure that out later. That's in-season manager's problem.
Absolutely.
Right now, just take him.
And we do have one utility spot, so depending on how the outfitter's going, maybe there's an off day. I wouldn't mind having a power hitter, 30-plus home runs for the last few seasons, even on bad teams. Let's keep in mind, he's been on the least of sexy teams. Now he's in another power hitter's ballpark dream,
Yeah.
So, I love some of these guys up here, and we talked about, the option for steals, so I'm going to have to go with my boy Yelich. I know he's old, but he's still got some wheels. I mean, he had 21 last year, only played in 73 games. Theoretically, doubling that, adding a few more, he could have 40-plus stolen bases. And with all the rules now in place that help the base stealers, with the bigger base, with the rules of the base pass, 40 for a 30-plus-year-old, definitely not out of the question. So this alone allows me to think I have, any given time, a 20-plus stolen base guy in my lineup, whether it's an off day or not.
Mm-hmm. And at this point in the draft, that's certainly a gamble we're taking. This is a tricky part of the draft coming up for me because now I see a lot of names that were solid good, again, a couple years ago. when my attention fell off a little bit, and everyone seems really, really promising here. But obviously they're at this point for a reason. Royce Lewis still on there. I know you were.
I am huge on Royce Lewis, but he is a glass cannon. He gets hurt hitting home runs. Almost as interesting as my boy Josh Donaldson getting thrown out, hitting a home run. Granted, he did show up the umpire when he crossed home plate, but that's not the point. He's a good man. He's a good man.
Rosarina just went. That's good.
I can't stand Randy Rosarina. The whole... Why don't you hit above 205 and strike out 3 times more than you even get on base, dude? Yeah, when he was traded over to... Who's he even play for now? The Mariners. So once he was traded, his strikeout went up. I want to say it was 30%. It was ridiculous. Okay, my turn to draft. Talked about Royce Lewis, talking him up, but I already have decent third baseman. I really do like Alec Bohm at third. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's tough because I don't like Carlos Rodon. I don't. But am I gonna do it? Am I gonna take Carlos Rodon? I don't even like him. And I've always thought, don't take pitchers in the AL Central, the AL East, well, the AL anyway, because they have better hitters. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do it. We committed.
Guardians fans still hate that guy. He whooped us for years, ultimately ending in a no-hitter. Yeah, it wasn't perfect. I think it was just a no-hitter. But even for 3 years before that, he whooped us every time. And Guardians, Indians, a long history of power pitchers, Cy Young winners, can handle them well, right? The Chris Sales, the Verlanders, and then you get some junk tossing, crafty veteran lefty. It's totally stymied. Yeah. Two hit night, pathetic.
It's frustrating because when you think back to some of the no hitters, some of the better games that people have had, you think, how in the world did they do that? Let's remember, nothing against Dallas Braden. Loved him. I am an athletics fan, obviously not that's my number one team, but that's where Donaldson, say he started. He was a catcher in the Cubs organization and was traded. I believe that was for Samardzija. But point is, Josh Donaldson started there. Yoenis Cespedes started there. I used to like Matt Chapman because he was like the spitting image of Josh Donaldson. Yeah. And then Coco Crisp. That is such a good, fun name to have.
Yes.
And then other, I like Giambi. Mainly because he played for the Yankees, but you get what I'm saying. Jose Canseco, the Bash Brothers, Mark McGwire, and that's what got my love back in the. I say back in the game, really more just more into the game back in '98. But I mean, was it McGwire or was it Griffey's sweet swing? Who knows? Because it definitely wasn't Sammy Sosa. But in any case, so I do want to like stuff that the Athletics do, but Dallas Braden. And it was on Mother's Day, so it meant more. But how'd Dallas Braden have a perfect game? How'd Domingo Germain have a perfect game?
Compared to some of the all-time greats, names you would expect and don't. Yeah.
But, I mean, the saying, any given Sunday, I mean, any given day, literally, if it ends in a Y, it's an opportunity.
That's what I love about going to baseball games. No matter how good or bad it seems. It's any given night. Have you ever been to any milestone games live in person?
I thought we were going to be. Went to the Yankees Tigers game, and we actually I was hoping to see Miggy's 3,000th hit.
Oh,
we walked him. So.
All right, are you ready for this?
Let's hear it.
JK, I'm gonna go for my big surprise of the draft. I'm going to take Garrett Cole here. This is an investment in the future. I know he's not pitching this year, but the 13th round, that's someone at that pick I could keep for next year. I feel like he'd be better value at that. It's sitting on an egg. I'll throw him on the bench on the IL.
Absolutely.
And let him sit.
That's smart. So in this league, you get to keep these players at the position you draft them, the round you draft them, for 4 years. So for the next 4 years, Garrett Cole comes back from this healthy. That's a great pick at the 13th round. That's great.
Thank you. In the movie Draft Day with my beloved Cleveland Browns, he has his little post-it note. It says, "Vontae Mack, no matter what, I had in mind. I'm gonna pick up an egg to sit on to hatch in the nest." And Cole's one that was like him or someone young that could be a future, rookie of the year target. Come up and get their cup of coffee, and then it doesn't pay off this year, but for the future, that was my big goal. So I feel like I'm hitting everything I wanted to do so far in this draft.
Yeah, absolutely. There definitely are a few guys I'm thinking about like that, hoping that they're still around. I'm really not sure if they're still around. I mean, this was the main one. Is Woodruff
He
available?
just went a couple picks ago.
Well, daggone it. There goes my...
He went 120.
Dang. Okay, well, I do like what you're talking, picking up what you're putting down, getting some of my guys here that I think are going to do well, because I'm looking for power pitching. And I definitely think that they're power pitching, and I mean, it's something we can look at later on. So, excited about some of these guys. More about the faith than the product at times.
Well, and I know there's a lot of Yankees fans in this league, so
yes.
Hey, maybe this might be a nest egg that maybe it doesn't pay off for me. Send them out at triple the price to the Yankees fans. Yes. Now, as a Yankees fan, I'm not a huge Garrett Cole fan, but it's hard not to like a guy who's done decently well. Mm-hmm. And for anyone here knows, I love Jameson Taillon. The next 30 for 30 is actually going to be about the Cubs. I'm going to be talking about Taillon because he is still doing well even after the age of 30. When you had Tyler Glasnow, Garrett Cole, and Jameson Taillon in the same lineup, Pirates, why didn't you do anything? So Jason Dominguez just went, and that was someone I was thinking might slip a little bit. Obviously not with all the Yankees fans about, but that's about right, 130th. Kind of pretty close to where they had him ranked, so they were chomping at that. But yeah, same line of thinking for those young guys coming up. Alright, what do I need? I need pitching again. Not loving who's here. not till later. Take a reliever from the Brewers. A little bit of a reach. But
Yeah. Well, that was Meagle, correct?
yes.
So, I'm sure you're familiar with handcuffs. I would absolutely look at Joel Payamps or Joel Payamps as another.
Thank you. I would have been sort of Y-O-W for Joel. Thank you.
So I've heard the announcers say Joel Payamps. I'm like, what?
There's so many names I only ever see written and not said. I butcher them all the time.
Yeah, so I'm doing my series. I definitely have to look up. I'm like, how is this? There's a guy, Jacques Hanowitz or something. He's a relief pitcher for the Angels. No idea how to say his name because it doesn't look like Johannes or
That's
whatever.
the last. I thought you were saying it was Jacques, like a Frenchman. Like
Oh
Jacques.
no, he's got like a 6-syllable last name.
Gotcha.
He's a flamethrower, so he could be the closer, which I hope not because don't judge me. I had to pick Kenley Jansen as one of my relievers in one of my leagues.
Interesting.
So.
Yeah.
And let's be right, he was with the Red Sox. Come on, man. And I'm not totally against the Red Sox. They're a good team. They have some good players. So, I had Tyler O'Neill on my team last year, the power guy.
So Anthony Volpe just went at 137. A couple picks from now, a guy whose team name has Volpe in it will not be able to get him. Now, I'm a big believer. You got to have the guy if you're going to put a pun of his name on the team. Right? Where do you stand on this important issue in fantasy sports?
In this very league, I had a guy draft Josh Donaldson and would not trade him to me. I don't know why. Because it was not 2015 when he was hitting 37 home runs, having 141 RBIs, and hitting like 280 and winning the MVP. It wasn't then. It was calf injury Josh Donaldson. It was the man bun Josh Donaldson.
Is that guy that wouldn't trade you still in the league?
I don't think so.
All right.
I don't think so.
No one's on blast.
But I'd put him on blast anyway. But since he wouldn't trade me, I would change my name every week to because mainly every week Josh Donaldson was hurt. So if he was in the IL, I would say haha, Donaldson is hurt, or calf injuries suck, or stylish Donald buns. So I would always change my name to essentially make fun of him for literally having a guy that couldn't do anything on his team when I was trying to get him. Now you might be thinking, he wouldn't do anything for your team either. You're right, but he's my favorite player. See, look. He's on this picture that was painted for me. Just like you in Cespedes and Jameson Taillon.
All right, I'm going to draft, not out of need here, but someone I like. Another great baseball name. I have Cal Raleigh, but I love Shea Langoliers.
Yes!
Oh man, I'm so excited about these two guys. And I can only start one. I'm not going to put one in a utility. He'll say, but catcher's not playing every day.
What?
Cal's in a lot, though.
Yes.
Cal.
Yeah. And it's because last year I was thinking that there were going to be some time split between multiple different catchers, but there was a workhorse catcher. Cal Raleigh is a workhorse. So now, unfortunately, I have to look a little further down for the guys that I want because
it's that point of the draft.
They're
a little
not,
swirly.
That's right. They're not considered this high, but I just took Christopher Sanchez. Last year, he started 31 games. He had, I believe, 16 quality starts, and of that Phillies rotation, I think they ended up with the top 4 for starting for them because they did start Spencer Turnbull and they brought Taiwan Walker in, and that was a disappointment. He had an ERA 7+. But so the top 4 for the Phillies had, I believe, if I remember correctly, 57 quality starts in their 123 games started. So that's phenomenal. I think the only team, now don't quote me on this, but the only team with more quality starts for their top starting pitchers was the Mariners. They had 73 between their top 4. 73. That's phenomenal.
That is.
So Sanchez, he's definitely going to have some firepower getting him runs in that lineup. He's got a mishmash of relievers that can get him the win eventually. So feel good about Mr. Christopher Sanchez. There is actually a guy who is in one of my other leagues who's trying to trade me for him. And I really like Connor Norby. If you look at his picture, he's got big ears, but I like him because he went to East Carolina. I have connections to East Carolina, so not because he's going to start for me, because in this league I have Alec Boehm, I have Matt Olson, very similar to this same league. So I have first and third. Second base, I think I have Altuve, very similar to this league. So again, I'm not going to necessarily start him because I have the guys. But he was like, I'll give you Connor Norby if you give me Christopher Sanchez. It's like, absolutely not. No, that's a silly trade. So then he's like, how much are you in love with Christopher Sanchez? And I replied back simply that not to give you 10 times the talent that I'm getting. Because this is the same guy that in this league traded Roman Anthony, I think Marcelo Meyer, and Dylan Cruz. Not Marcelo Meyer, it was James Wood. So traded those three guys to, or like from a playoff contender to a guy who was, the bottom of the barrel, but got back Ryan Helsley, Pete Alonso, and Brent Rooker. So he got 3 all-stars back, arguably top 5, top 10, potentially in their positions. And someone said, oh no, it's not collusion, that's a good trade. So one guy actually, had made it to the pros. Then you had one guy who hadn't sniffed, or 2 guys hadn't sniffed him, and you're saying it's a fair trade? Now, when I brought it up, I was like, oh yeah, it happens all the time. I just saw where Taylor Ward went. That was another guy I was targeting. I know I have like 700 outfielders, but
yeah, you got that list back.
Yeah, boy, I pulled it up with a different view.
I see.
But yeah, I did see that he went. That's so unfortunate because again, I really like Taylor Ward, not because he's good, because he is the least sexy guy you can pick. But he's going to get you 20 home runs. He's going to get you 70 RBIs. And with the fish back in the lineup, could be more. Now, he's not going to steal any bases. Let's not go crazy there. But again, I think he's got other talent. He definitely do well. But, well. Not for me. I already have like 700 outfielders.
Oh boy, I'm at a loss at this point. I'm gonna go. I'm just reading these notes to make sure there's no big red flags.
I also hate the timer at the top because it reminds me of getting to like playing Sonic or Ninja Turtles.
Wait, the underwater levels?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a Grayson.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with one of my boys. I had him last year. I've had him before. He was a swing man. Nick Pivetta. Yes, he did play for the Red Sox, and this is what I mean by they have good players, and I like them. I also had Tyler O'Neill last year, who I might very well go after because he can hit home runs, but he's going to be hurt a third of the time. But again, wanting to go power pitching, and I'm kind of be like you. You talked about before, punting on relievers. I mean, I might... we literally talked about this before.
That was your strategy.
Yeah, I was going to try to go mainly relievers and get back to win saves, ERA, and WHIP. But now I'm just looking to win wins and Ks and
yeah.
I mean, hopefully I
punt on saves.
Yeah, and hope I win WHIP and ERA. I don't know if I will, especially because some of these guys, not the sexiest pitchers, but we're definitely going to be looking to win wins and Ks.
There's a pretty deep bench in this league too, by the way, you say?
Absolutely, and there are 2 or 3 IL spots, and there are 2 or 3 NA spots.
Okay.
So that's something to keep in mind.
For those eggs to sit on. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Some flexibility.
So Eugenio Suarez just went. That was a guy I had in several of my leagues last year, and he went off. Mm-hmm. He decided after, I think it was after May, he's like, I probably need to hit some. And he went on a tear. Really after the All-Star break, though, those last little bit of time, he absolutely decided that he was no longer going to be a 200 hitter. He was going to be a 260 hitter. And he did hit, I think it was the 4th straight year of 30 home runs and like the 3rd year of 100 RBIs or something like that. So he's putting the work in. Now I was concerned about him moving down from what I thought was a decent lineup in Seattle, but Safeco Field really wasn't a hitter's ballpark. It was more of a pitcher's ballpark. Down to Humidor in Arizona, but it's worked out for him. And now I think he actually has a stronger lineup around him. Well, Griffin Jackson was the guy that I actually was going to be looking at reliever-wise, but cool, man. This is the second time you've taken who I wanted.
Full disclosure, I'm also going reliever here.
Okay, who we got?
Best player available. I don't know. Jordan Romano.
So that was kind of the mishmash, paddywhack, mix of relievers the Phillies have, and they've always been that way. I mean like the past 4 or 5 years, because they've had Alvarado, they've had Kimbrel, they had, and I'm going to try to start this, Ryan Belt to Kerkering, because I think he's the best guy in that bullpen. Right now, they had Jeff Hoffman. Now they don't have Jeff Hoffman because he went to the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays gave Jordan Romano back to him. Concerned about Jordan Romano because of his health. He did blow several saves last year, but he was also hurt. So he may pick up more holds. This league doesn't do holds, but it's going to help with the ERA, and it's going to help with whip and potentially strikeouts.
I have 2 closers. So at this point, it's... if he gets them, that's great. If not, like you said, those other categories being solid back there.
So one of my favorite players just went Logan O'Hoppe, not because he plays for the Angels, but because I think he's going to be a good young talent. He's 24 years old. He has 2 straight seasons, I believe 2 straight seasons of 20 home runs. I think he's good. Now, he's not good behind the plate. The Angels were the very first team I did.
Doesn't count in fantasy.
That's right. That's right. No errors or anything like that. Behind the plate, I think he was 68th percentile for catching runners. So if you're a team that's going to be playing the Angels, just go ahead and run. You can run. Someone you couldn't run on was Pudge Rodriguez, who did play for the Angels for a very short stint, which is crazy. Like Mike Piazza was on the Athletics for a very short stint, which no one really remembers that. Yeah,
Did not know.
He looks weird, like when you see him in an A's uniform. And I've actually seen box breaks where they get a Mike Piazza Athletics uniform card. And it's definitely not what you're used to seeing. I mean, obviously, because you expect him to be with the Mets or the Dodgers, whichever one you're talking about, earlier career, later career. Okay.
I'm getting to the point of the draft where I have a lot of my keepers down here at the bottom. I had 2 in the 20th round and a 23rd. So I'm trying to find some values or some... And not so much better like prospects.
Yeah.
It'd be tough here. I also have, if I throw Cole on the IL, immediately pick someone up in free agency, so I have that to play around with too. I'm gonna go with someone I had him and liked him, a hero of my team, differently, not last year, the year before. Picked him up midway through, felt good about it. Again, flexibility, and hope that he reverts. If not, at this point in the draft, a fine flyer.
Bryson Stott was definitely someone I liked. I've had him on my team a few years. His batting average did go down a little bit, and I also think dropping in the lineup hurt him. However, where else are you going to put him up in the top of that Phillies lineup?
No.
Who are you going to move down? So I definitely think he's a good pick. He had 32 stolen bases last year, so he can fly on the base pass. So again, the fact that he had 32 in the bottom half of a really good lineup, and where I would say the weakest point in that lineup, again, I hate to say it, but my boy JT Realmuto, the age is getting to him. Love him, but not going to have him this year, at least in this league. I view catchers like I view tight ends. If you don't have one of the best ones, what's the point? So it's important for me to have a good catcher.
Did you pick one yet, or are you still?
So my catcher is Wilson Contreras. I'm happy with him. He was an 18th round keeper for
nice.
me.
Yeah.
So he is the only catcher right now. I was thinking about taking Yanier Diaz because he was available, and he was the second best catcher right behind Salvador Perez, who had a phenomenal breakout season. I say breakout, not that he's ever been bad. I think he hit 230 twice in his 15-year career, but again, he's a catcher, and he's very good behind the plate. So it's hard to find one good at the plate and behind the plate. But he second only to Salvi, and then of course William Contreras, who I thought was going to be splitting time last year with Omar Narvaez in Milwaukee, because Narvaez is definitely an offensive catcher, but that did not matter because Narvaez saw very few at-bats, very few starts behind the plate because Contreras is so good. So this draft does have 25 rounds, so we're just getting ready to get to the 20th round. We have 5 more picks left. I do have a keeper in round 21, that's Zach Neto. So he'll go on the IL. We're also going to keep Roki Sasaki's going to go NA. So I'm going to have 2 more open spots on my team. So if there is a player that I'm thinking, I didn't get to grab him, maybe I'm just punting on those saves like we talked about, we can find saves somewhere. We absolutely can. And again, if I've punted this much, now there's still one guy I'm looking at right now, and he has been on my team for several years, and I really, really like him. So I'm debating drafting him, even though I already have someone for this particular position. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to jinx it, but I've had this guy several years, a little bit of a decline, but I think this year, let's use the French, but he's going to be pissed off.
You're hyping him up too much. He could be gone.
Maybe that's part of the ploy.
A little reverse psychology on people who don't even realize it.
That's right. But yeah, I definitely. Oh, and you now have my 20th pick. So
yeah, you know what? After that, so I had 2 keepers in the 20th round. I was worried he would assign 20 and 20, and I would just then go to 20. But no, he only used my pick in the 20, then my pick in the 21st. So I do have a pick here. I'm gonna take, this guy. What an off season. Well, postseason, I should say. Gary
yes,
Carpenter.
Great. Now Tyler O'Neill was taken. That's unfortunate because that was going to be my pick. Now wasn't the guy.
I know it.
Well, that wasn't the guy I was talking up.
Okay.
But this other guy I'm talking up, only because he's with my team, and leading up to this point, there's been so much crap. And I say crap because he once a great, then was written off for some odd reason. But I did like O'Neill because they have brought in the fences at Camden Yards. So when you're thinking of pitchers and hitters, it's going to be good for hitters, not great for pitchers. So now I'm wondering why I selected Carlos Rodon even more. It's all good. Oh, Lane Thomas went. I really did like Lane Thomas. He wasn't the guy I was talking up. He had a great season with the Nationals 2 years ago, 2022, 2023 maybe. Not quite able to do that, but did find success in the postseason.
Yeah, well, he came over, he had a hit streak going, and he kept it going, and then just cratered. Okay. But then late in the season, in through to the playoffs, man, he was impressive.
So actually,
you don't want to keep this in, but Tommy loves Lane Thomas.
Yes.
Thomas. And he just got for his birthday a little kid's Lane Thomas jersey because it says Thomas
That
on
is
the back.
awesome.
So
that is awesome.
He gets excited when he comes up to bat.
Yeah. And, Lane Thomas definitely is a guy that, in my opinion, could be a leadoff hitter and probably should be. Now, it's also hard to compete with Stephen Kwan, who's phenomenal. And then you have other hitters who, I won't say are better, but because Lane Thomas is dangerous on the base pass. So I like him being able to steal bases. Now, again, probably won't ever get back up. I think he was hitting like 260, had those 28 home runs, had like 60 or 70 RBIs, I think 20 stolen bases. That was with the Nationals, so probably won't hit that again, but you can always dream.
Well, and without Naylor, he'll be in the middle, but... And he was quite a bit in the playoffs, too. And Fry was hitting for power. He's going to miss the first part coming off surgery. So I absolutely could see him right in the middle.
Now, how do you feel about having Mr. Santana back? He is a walk machine. Like, getting walks, always able to get on base, but the 220, 230 batting average, it's not sexy.
Yeah, but neither was Josh Naylor for a lot of times. He could kill it, and you loved it, but then he would go ice cold in the most crucial moments. And outside of being Garrett Cole's daddy.
Oh, I hate that!
Oh, man. Two different series as you humiliated him in the playoffs, man. Own him. But, Naylor, for as great as he was really frustrating a lot of time. And so Santana, if he's going to be consistently okay, versus the highs and the lows, you know what you're getting with him. Yeah. But, yeah, just love him for the team and being Jose's buddy and all that stuff. Yeah.
Guy that just went, Luis Rengifo. Great eligibility. He had a 300 batting average, 310 before he got hurt last year. I think he was up to like 14 or 16 stolen bases. So again, he only played in like 73 games last year, or maybe 80. Anyway, he played about half the games. Again, hitting 300. I think he could do very well, especially with the fish back in the lineup. Another guy that went is a walk machine, Nate Lowe. Really like him. People are going to be sleeping on this Nationals team, but I'm not. I think the Nationals, they're going to surprise some people because they have 3 good, young, talented outfielders. And obviously you talk about C.J. Abrams, Nate Lowe. I think they're going to be good. He went.
Oh, no. Arenado?
Yep.
Oh.
That's the guy that wouldn't trade me Freddie Freeman, too.
Well, hey, if it makes you feel better, I'm going to prop up and show some love for one of your fellow alums, Gavin.
Yes!
A Pirate.
There we go. So, we are going to look at pitching because we have to. I do have a few guys I like, but I just talked Lodolo up. Yeah, we're gonna go for him. Yep. Now he's gonna miss a little bit of time to start the season. Not necessarily hurt, but just building back up. So it's not the worst thing in the world.
You know what? I only got one more pick left in this draft. Better make a good one.
Now, something I'm excited about, I have 2 picks in round 25, so this could be where I potentially look at keeping players who might be hurt.
Flyers. Yeah. I kept a lot there, and I was pleased, but now it kind of handcuffs me here because this is exactly where you want to get some steals and some sneaky, sexy picks.
Absolutely.
May not pay off now, but could later.
Yeah. And, I mean, a 25th round keeper, is that really going to hurt anybody? Last year, I thought I was being slick and picked Felix Bautista. Then I forgot to pick him up again. So, yeah. That's my life, guys. Someone else I'm excited about, Jorge Soler. Now again, with my 700 outfielders, doesn't matter. But we'll see what my options are. Okay, Matt Stram. That's another guy in that bullpen for the Phillies who could get some save opportunities. Spencer Arrighetti Spaghetti just went. Dude, if he could recreate, I think it was his July. Oh my gosh, it was nasty. Okay, it's my turn to pick. Dare I go with another pitcher? I think we do. We go with the actual first save guy, Justin Martinez. Now, you might be thinking, who's Justin Martinez and why are you picking him? Well, Justin Martinez is the new flamethrower for the Mr. Paul Sewald and Kevin Ginkel and whoever else step in replacement for the Diamondbacks. This guy is projected to get 86 strikeouts, which obviously will help me with the strikeouts. And he's only projected to get 19 saves. Feel like they're going to be a little better than that, but let's look. He had 91 for 72 innings pitched last year, so I like him. And again, punting on saves, he's going to get me strikeouts. He didn't have the sexiest whip, but it's all good. It's all good. I'm not too upset about that. So someone picked Paul Skeens last year in round 23, and obviously that was a great pick. That's the same guy that has Ohtani as the pitcher and the hitter.
The rich get richer.
Yeah. Someone picked Jonathan India? You don't need him. I mean, neither do I. I'm Altuve, so. Hopefully some of these guys get other eligibility, because my outfielders consist of Jackson Merrill, Brenton Doyle, Lawrence Butler, Christian Yelich. We're going to go down. Riley Green, Dylan Cruz, Adolis Garcia. Oh, daggone it. Lourdes Gurriel. That was another guy. That was going to be my next pick. So, like an 8th outfielder, because I need that. Brandon Lau. That's so odd how you pronounce that name. Like, instead of being like Josh Lowe and Nate Lowe, it's Lau. I don't get it. Oh well. Not necessary for me to understand stuff.
Done. I'm out.
Okay, Jackson Jobe, that's a great pick.
That had, well, looking up who's going to be possible rookies of the year, not because I'm informed of high-rated AAA prospects or anything, but just figure that my last pick of the draft may be worth looking at.
Absolutely.
Dominguez in the AL and Cruz, who you were just talking about, in the NL, all ahead of him, but drafted long ago.
Oh. Okay, 20 seconds left. Need to stop fiddle farting around and just go with what I was going to go with. Yep, Bowden Francis. Great season last year. Not well. Okay, maybe. Yeah. Well,
5.
He's another reliever, so not necessarily a reliever. He can fit in the relief spot. So I am absolutely punting on what? Ronel Blanco is still available? How?
You got 2 picks coming up in the 25th.
I do. But here's the thing. No one picked Francisco Alvarez. The power hitting catcher. And he's super young. No one picked Tyler Soderstrom, who's a lefty, who's going to be hitting at a 325-foot right field. Joey Bart, another good young catcher. So yeah, I think I'm likely.
Josh Bell's still around? And with Washington?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, he was with Washington, went away from Washington, and now he's back with them.
That's where again my old knowledge.
Yeah.
Which he just could have stayed there for a while.
Like I think it was like a year.
Except he went to the Guardians. He crossed my radar then. Oh, Merrill Kelly.
Yeah, old Merrill Kelly. Oh, Jonah Heim. Remember last year he was like the guy. He was,
well, that's what you're talking about. If you don't have a elite one, get the next, and then he comes out great out of that next batch.
Mm-hmm.
And Texas should be better.
Yeah, oh, yes,
than last
yes.
Year. I mean,
with the idea that the pitching is going to be healthy. But also the players. So yeah, I think. So I think I really am gonna take a flyer on Alvarez. Now I talked him up, watch him even be there. Okay, yeah, he's there. So in last year, he got hurt in the 6th game of the season, and then our 16th game of the season, and then ended up playing another 84 games, giving the total of 100 for the year, and he hit 10 more home runs and had another 39 RBIs. So, I mean, that right there. I don't know how long Alvarez is going to be out, but as a 25th round keeper, give me Alvarez because I will keep him over Wilson Contreras next year. And, I talked about Connor Norby, but I'm going to go with Matt Shaw. This guy has second, third, and shortstop eligibility. He is projected to start with the Cubs this year. He is versatile, and he's going to be making the trip to Tokyo. So, my boy, Matt Shaw is going to be my 25th round pick. Those two guys, depending on how they do, obviously, could absolutely be keepers for me. I'm excited. So if you want to do a quick recap of your team, I will also click on it so people can see.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. All right. So first thing that jumps out, I got a lot of Guardians. Okay. It's not just being a homer, although it is. It's just I know them better. I keep better tabs on them, and I feel more like knowledgeable about who's good, who's bad, who's trustworthy than the other teams, right? But I got Ramirez, Kwan, down in pitching. I got Gavin and Bybee. So there are four Guardians. Love my outfield. I think that's probably my biggest strength. Right now, guys that got slotted down to the bench, I feel like are solid contributor, even past Quintino and Pena. A lot of flexibility. I'm excited about pitching. I have a lot of decent dudes. A little bit worried about saves and the closers, just the two, and plus kind of a partial one with the Romano. But overall, very satisfied. I feel like I was in good shape and kind of hit my targets. Big notes I left for myself. In the first couple picks, get 2 pitchers and a middle infielder. Did that. That was my 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. And then find an egg to sit on. Got Garrett Cole and then Job, and is my last pick of the draft. So I hit everything I wanted to do.
No, absolutely. I like the fact that you have 2 power hitters at catcher because, again, once there's a day off, but also keep in mind, Shea Langlier's hitting in a smaller ballpark. Yes. It's a minor league ballpark. So those 26 homers, I think he'll absolutely hit those. I think last year, let me double check. He had 29 homers last year, and the Coliseum is not hitter-friendly.
Correct.
Or was not hitter-friendly.
I think that Athletics team is decent. Not as bad as advertised. I was there, a better than expected year last year. I think that continues, like you said, in that park.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the 2 catchers, I love them both. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I just like both of them. So.
Absolutely. Again, your outfield definitely is a strength. Tucker is going to be a 5-tool player. The average, it could fluctuate a little bit. Last year, it took Corbin Carroll a while to get going. Actually, I tried to trade for him from this very team several times, and he didn't. So thankfully for him, he didn't. For the simple fact that he did end up getting it going.
Yeah.
So glad about that. Stephen Kwan, he was in the talks.
I don't know if that old owner was doing much of anything, depending on the time you asked.
No,
He
he was not. He was someone I asked about getting you in the league. Like, oh, we have someone. The guy changed his lineup like 2 or 3 times, and that was it. So I'm sure he's a wonderful person. I really am sure. I don't know him. I think we were friends on Facebook at one point in time, but he may have deleted me, and that's fine. But again, the team that he had was definitely better than 10th place. And we were talking about that. There were teams that had a lot of talent, so it probably was hard to figure out who was going to be a keeper. And looking a whole year ahead, this is taking not taking injuries into account, not taking performance into account. There are guys that you can keep at prime spots that could be value. I mean, again, we talk about Garrett Cole. He won't be back this year. He'll take some more time in the next year. But if a Yankees fan was like, you know what, I like a 13th round value, let's grab him. You're picking up draft picks, and you're ideally picking up another prime player. J-Ram, he's going to lead probably in all categories. Your team, but also the Indians. I really like
third place MVP.
Yeah, it does.
Bank it. I mean, Judge and Ohtani and Trout in the AL, but slot it in, pencil it in, third for J-Ram, in and out like clockwork. Incredible.
One of my favorite picks that you made, Kerry Carpenter. This guy came on strong in 2023. 2024, he was hurt. I think it was back injury, so he did go in and out of the lineup, but when he's playing, he is on, okay? So he only played in 87 games, so we'll say half the season. 18 home runs in half the season?
Yeah.
What's he doing in a full season? Now, obviously, we can't expect this to keep up.
And that's a tough park. Yes. I know that. I know you're big on hitter and pitcher parks.
Yeah, and I talk about this specific division having subpar hitters, so I really like the pitchers. But that has changed in the last 2 years. You can no longer say we'll whiff by the Pirates. Now, I'm not saying they have the sexiest hitters, but Joey Bart raised his batting average 70 points this past season. Brian Reynolds, a consistent 270, 280 hitter. That's just in that one lineup, and that's not including some of the guys they added. They did add Spencer Horwitz, who did very well for the Blue Jays down the stretch. But then we talk about
Guardians legend.
Talk about these Tigers. The weak spot in that lineup might be the catcher, but I want to talk about, no one drafted him, but Dylan Dingler. That's his last name. Dinger for Dinglers.
Can't make that happen.
Went to a minor league game, and I think he hit 2 home runs in that game. And I was like, yes, I want this guy on my fantasy team. Now, he is going to be splitting time with Jake Rogers, who I thought was much older. Apparently, I thought he was like 35 years old.
It was the mustache.
Yes.
Purely.
Yes. Well, he is not 35 years old. I think he's in his like late 20s maybe. So him and the Dingler will be splitting time. Fingers crossed Dingler comes out on top. So again, love Kerry Carpenter. Pitching wise, what made you go with DeGrom? Because he's had so many injury concerns. What made you say, let's take a shot with him?
Best pitcher available. I really wanted Framber. I picked, I think, 10th, and he was long gone. Some of the other safer guys I wanted in there were already out. Some of the starters, and I didn't want to go to relievers. So, again, if he takes a while, that's okay with me. I feel like I have some other decent, bottom of the top shelf pitching to get by. But yeah, not something I'm intending to keep, at least not at that draft position, but someone to be solid for this.
Now, unless he returns to the Mets ace guy.
Time machine.
Yeah, when he was beside Thor, Love and Dove hair surprise, that's probably not going to be a first round keeper for you, but or not necessarily first round keeper, but third round keeper. So, but yeah, I love Hunter Green. He's gonna. Him and Nick Lodolo, I just talked about with the Reds. Those are going to be the 2 guys for the Reds who are going to keep them in games. Now, Great American Ballpark, definitely a hitter's ballpark. So that's something to keep in mind. But when they're going to be traveling to different ballparks, obviously it's going to be fine. But he led the team in strikeouts. Guess who's behind him? Lodolo. He led the team in wins. Guess who's behind him? Lodolo. Quality starts, then Lodolo. So again, it's the 1-2 punch. And again, with the offense being so young there, the oldest guy I believe that's starting in that offense is like 31, and I think that's Tyler Stevenson. Yeah. So, well, it's going to be Jose Trevino because Tyler Stevenson's missing some time. So Trevino is going to be the starting catcher. But really do like that. And again, going back to talking about Jackson Joe, he's good. He's a good young guy. He's going, if he can stay healthy, if he can actually get in the majors and secure a spot and not have to go back down. Again, I think he's definitely going to be a guy that's dangerous.
And if he's a stash, like I said, he got a deep bench here. Don't need him to be productive now. That's 24th pick, I think. So that could be just for the future. Just someone that improves or take to that next level, moves up a little bit in the offseason, and maybe looking to keep it next year.
Absolutely. Grayson Rodriguez, he's quietly won 13 games last year. That, I didn't expect that.
Right.
But again, did well. Only 116 innings pitched, but 20 games started, getting enough into. You're thinking at least 5+ innings per game.
And that's just the strength of a team. Good offense are going to get you some wins, even if you're not doing your best stuff.
Right. And the 3.80 ERA with a 1-2 whip, not bad at all. Heck yeah, man. Very quickly, want to hit on my team because the little timer in the corner is telling me. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. But we talked about the offense. I have a lot of offense. I have a ton of it. There are 2 guys pitching wise on my bench. Everything else is offense. I love the infield I have here.
Oh, yeah.
Really like the fact that I was able to get Seager. Love Lawrence Butler. He is a lefty, so he is going to absolutely surpass. Mark my words, these 25 home runs. He was able to hit 22 in the Coliseum. And he was able to steal 18 bases. That was his first real taste of Major League pitching. He's going to do great. Huge fan of his. We talked about some of the other stolen base guys. Christian Yelich, 21 in 73 games. Go for more. Don't look at that 22. He's going to get more. Doyle, he had 30 last year. He's going to get more this year. Absolutely. This guy, this is who we were talking about. It was going to be between Jackson Merrill and Mr. Austin Riley, who I was going to take first as I had the second pick. You can't go wrong with Jackson Merrill. He's going to be hitting with Luis Arias first. Then you have Tatis. Not really a big fan of Tatis. That hadn't been doing well since he got done juicing. Then you have Jackson Merrill. Then you have Machado. Who do you walk? Who do you try to get by to say, ooh, let's not do that? Because fifth, you have Xander Bogaerts. Definitely not the sexiest name, but he's still going to do some work. Now, after that, it's kind of no man's land. But
and for you with that third baseman already with Bone penciled in versus Riley, but Merrill slotted very nice, and that'd be someone worth keeping. If he continues on that path he's already been on.
Absolutely, and I think I got 124th, so I think that's like 23rd round or something like that. Yeah, Dylan Cruz. This guy's supposed to have some stolen bases. Young guy. Him along with James Wood in the outfield gonna be dangerous. But one of my favorite picks, Francisco Alvarez. As a Yankees fan, I kind of look at the Mets and think, y'all are second rate to us. Not really, mainly because I really love the Yankees, but also love what the Mets can do. So we're gonna figure out what happens in 5 seconds. But he was a 25th round pick. This guy is going to be a keeper for me because he's super young. There we go.
Nice little recap here.
Dingers there. Oh, there we go. Oh, we got up a little bit. So yeah, that is the team. Again, this is my favorite pick right here, Francisco Alvarez. I will keep him at 24 years old over, I think, 31 or 32-year-old Wilson Contreras. Not anything against Wilson Contreras, but got to get young guys. And then Matt Shaw, he's going to be doing some work if he can catch on with the Cubs in the right position. He's going to have some other firepower around him. I like it. So, this has been great. I'm excited that we have this league coming up. We have the Rough Riders. We have Kent Murphy Dingers. We're going to be competing against each other, but also against some of these other scrubs that they're in this league. So, be ready, because we're coming for you.
I don't think they're scrubs. I'm just happy to be here.
Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined. But absolutely, we're looking forward to giving you updates weekly. And again, I will hopefully see you in 18 weeks, 22 weeks, 24 weeks, and I'll hold this imaginary trophy up. Okay, this will be my trophy back there. I'll hold this up, say woo, I won. But so, you know how it goes. This is J-Cake, and I'll thank you for sharing part of your day with me.